Hello, hello, it's Debbie here. I'm going to give you a crash course on doing your color on top caps to make sure that you avoid the mistakes that we made when we transformed the entire collection into color on top. We had all the girls here. It was super fun. It was actually a blast. But we learned a few things since then that will make it easier and better for you. So when we're doing the color on top caps, there's a few little tricks that you have to follow to make sure you don't end up with bubbles. Bubbles or cloudiness. And here's an example of the cloudy. So you can barely tell what it is. That's what it's going to look like. Once that one's completely dry, look at the difference. So making sure those guys dry completely is really, really important. Let's put that one back over here. And here is an example, a really good example of the bubbles. So check that out. If there's so many bubbles and it's so cloudy. In fact, whoever was doing this one obviously also had some of our solvent polish remover on their finger, and when they pushed it on, now we actually can't buff off that fingerprint. So I guess technically I could find out who did that. The fingerprint's right there for evidence. Anyway, here is the one that is done properly, and look at the difference. There's just no comparison. Just no comparison. It is a perfect, shiny, black, beautiful example of what this guy should look like. So what we were doing is we were rushing and going ahead and painting the inside of the caps and then putting them immediately onto the white new portion of the cap. So we were putting the color on top caps on right away, which when you stop and think about it is kind of silly because there's tons of moisture in there that needs to escape, and they are in fact sealed once you put them onto the white caps. So it's very, very important that you do it properly, you do the polish thin, and that you let these bad boys dry before you put them onto the actual handle themselves. So let me do a little demo here. I'll show you start to finish what you want to do with your switch over. And I'm gonna grab just one of our cuticle tools here. And the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make sure that the back of my polish bottle is nice and clean, because step one is to remove the number from the top, because I'm going to want to know myself anyway. You may not want to know, but I want to know what polish this is down the road for when I need to replace it. So I'm just going to very easily pop that guy off there. This is number 60, not number 90. So number 60 is the antique luster. So I'm just going to pop that on the back, and now that's there when I need to replace this bottle. Step one. Step two, I am going to take one of these little guys, and these are the color on top little clear window caps, and I am going to paint a very, very thin coat of the polish along the very inside top of the cap and up the sides. And what I'm going to focus on is that I don't pool a whole bunch over in the corners, over in the edges. I'm going to keep that as thin as I possibly can and just go all the way around the inside of the cap, up the sides. And then I'm going to make sure that the very top side of the cap is also covered. Look there, you can see there's a little, hopefully you can see there's a little void. If we look right through it, then you can see. It's easier to see in that way. So I'm just going to go, I'm going actually from that corner into kind of the center to make sure I'm not leaving a bunch of polish glooped into the cap itself. It's tempting to just fill it full. And I mean, I suppose you could if you wanted to leave it sit for days to try and dry. But there we go. We've got our cap filled. The next thing I'm going to do, if you look through this, you can see over here an area where I touched the outer rim of the cap. So you're going to see that on your polish bottle if you don't clean it off. And I personally not a fan, so I want it cleaned off. So I go and just clean it off with a bit of polish remover or plate cleaner, whatever you've got. And now here's a trick for you. If you've got a blow dryer handy, grab it, plug it in. It's going to be your best friend to do this little job. Now, if this is super loud, I will edit it out and put music instead. But I'm literally just going to turn on my blow dryer and into here, make sure it's nice and dry. I promise I'll speed this up if I need to. So there we go. That gives it a good start for drying. Now I'm going to take this one step further, and I'm actually going to leave it upside down, waiting to go on the bottle, and leave it overnight. And tomorrow I will actually put that on the white cap. But in the meantime, we have one more step we have to do here, and that is replace the brush. So you have an option here. If you love the original brush that's narrow and a bit thicker, then you can keep that brush, but you've got to pull it out of this old cap. Comes out fairly easily. If not, just give it a little tilt and a pull and pop that out. So if your intention is to keep this guy, that is what's going to go into the bottle. Or if you would prefer to change to the new brush, which is just a little bit wider. Let's see if I can pull both these up here and get it to focus. Oh, there we go. It's just a little bit wider and a bit thinner. So I'm going ahead and changing all of mine over to this one. So that's what I'm going to pop into my bottle of polish. And then I'm going to grab one of the brand new white color on top caps. And all you do is put that on as tight as she goes. Now that will seat your new brush and you're ready to go. All right. Now, something that you try to do while you're doing this is work clean, okay? Because if you have polish all over your fingers and you're touching these little caps, you're gonna get polish all over everything and then you're gonna need to clean it up. So just try and work clean. So that guy's ready to go. Once I let that sit for 24 hours, then I'm ready to go ahead and pop that cap on. And let me show you here with this guy. He's been sitting. And all I do is flip over my bottle and give it a little push. And that guy's ready to go. Check it out. Color on top. Beautiful, shimmery version of what's in your bottle. Now you want to make sure that you follow those steps so that that polish on top is the proper color. Because if that ends up getting cloudy because you put it on too soon, you're not going to be able to tell looking at your collection what that color really is. And then it's kind of a waste. So follow those steps and let's see, we want to see, please tag us. We want to see your collections once you've switched them over to the color on top. Thanks so much for watching. Please, if you have any questions, any suggestions, we're always here and happy to hear from you. info@clearjellystamper.com. Please make sure you like, make sure you follow, and share with your friends. We really, truly appreciate it. It does help our business. Have a great day. Thanks so much for watching. Happy swatching. See you soon.